Right, and is there a reason behind that?
It's for a story.
Right, okay. Can I take your details, please?
What would you like my details for?
Because obviously in the interests of public safety and everything like that, when somebody is out filming and having a look around public buildings,
Right.
we have a duty of care
Right.
to check you out.
What, a duty of care to whom?
To the general public.
I'm part of the general public.
Yes.
I don't have to give you my details then.
Right, I can just get other people.
Well, other people I'm still not obliged to give you my details.
I'm asking because
And
at
I'm
the
refusing.
moment, I don't know whether you are committing any criminal offences in this area.
I'm certainly not.
This gentleman is out filming and is pointing up, looking at all the cameras, and obviously in light of...
Identify the cameras up there.
In light...
Before we go any further, pause right there. Because in just a few seconds, you've already heard the tension snap into place. An officer says she's not detaining him, while simultaneously telling him he's not going anywhere. That contradiction? That's the spark that ignites everything you're about to see. Today's encounter centers around a content creator known as Forced Awakenings, filming outside a council building, something that, on its face, is entirely lawful in a public space. No weapons. No threats. Just a camera. But what unfolds is a masterclass in escalation, vague references to public safety, the sudden invocation of terrorism legislation, threats of seizure, hints of arrest, and finally, being followed down the street. This isn't just about one stop. It's about a mindset. When does concern become suspicion? When does suspicion become pressure? And when does pressure turn into a fishing expedition for authority that may not actually exist? Watch closely, because the real story here isn't just what's said, it's what can't be justified when...
Film anything I can... hang on, wait a minute. I'm perfectly entitled to film anything I can see from a public place, including council buildings that are owned by the public.
Okay, we have concerns about public safety.
And your concerns are?
We don't know who you are
That's
and what
not a concern.
links it is.
It isn't.
In the day and age that we are in...
Are you accusing me of being a terrorist?
I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but...
Do you have reasonable suspicion to believe that I'm up to anything other than...
I don't know what you're up to.
Go on to Google filming in public. And even legislation.
Don't tell me what I need to do.
Right, well, don't tell me that I need to give my details when I know that I don't.
I'd like you to move away from this area, please, otherwise...
You need a Section 60. You need to remove somebody from an area without probable cause. You need a Section 60.
Well, I'm concerned for public safety.
Shifts from curiosity to control. The moment he says he's filming, the line of questioning narrows. What are you filming? Why are you filming? And then the leap, can I take your details? That's the key pivot. Because asking what someone is doing in public is one thing. Demanding identification is another entirely. There's a legal threshold that has to be crossed before personal details become mandatory. Suspicion has to be grounded. It can't just be discomfort with a camera lens, and here's the subtle dynamic at play. When someone says for a story, the officer doesn't treat that as an answer, she treats it as something that needs validation. But lawful activity doesn't require approval. The question is simple, is there a specific offense? Or are we watching uncertainty morph into authority?
My time is nobody's concern but mine.
Fair enough.
Okay. Can I ask you to identify yourself? You haven't got any numbers on your pellets?
1,000.
1,000. And name?
Sarah Bainbridge.
And yours?
2629. You're also on body cam.
Yeah, that's fine. And you're based here?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, I'm based out of Darlington.
Right, okay, excellent. Hello there.
Hi, yeah, you're all right.
Hello.
This gentleman is filming. He's now refusing to give any details, and
I'm not obliged to.
I can't understand why he's out filming buildings, council buildings, refusing to give any details in light of the incidents that we're having around the area at the moment.
And those incidents, whatever they may be, no concern of mine, nothing to do with me.
But I don't know who you are, and I can't check you out.
Well, you don't need to.
Yes, I do, because I have a duty of care to the public.
I'll tell you what it is, mate. It's anti-terrorism.
There's no terrorist.
Here comes the phrase that sounds official enough to feel unquestionable: duty of care. It's a powerful phrase, but it's also one that's often misunderstood. Duty of care doesn't automatically grant blanket authority to gather identification from anyone doing something unusual. It applies when there's a clearly defined risk. And at this point, what is the risk? A man with a camera, standing in a public place, openly stating what he's doing. What's interesting is how public safety gets introduced without a specific danger attached to it. It's broad. It's vague. And vagueness can sometimes be used to widen perceived authority. But legally speaking, powers aren't based on general unease. They're based on reasonable, articulable suspicion. The distinction between this feels odd and this is unlawful is critical, and right now, that line has
towards any public buildings.
That's a lie, because there was one yesterday actually.
Was there? Well, I wasn't aware of that.
Well,
where was
there
that?
you go.
So where was that?
We don't know.
So here.
Yes, it was actually.
Right.
Yeah, there was one to the council officers as well.
Right. That's nothing to do with me. No
That's
concern of
why
mine.
you-
How do we know that?
Well,
It's just
were
my
they
details.
stood outside with a mobile phone?
Look, we're not getting into this.
Well-
I am now asking you to leave the area because I feel that you,
On what grounds?
because you are alarming the public.
No. Which section of the law? You give me the section of the law, I'll quite happily move.
You just need.
Beg your pardon? I'm just a...
I never said one word.
You liar.
We're filming you as well.
That's fine. It's public.
Just stand
It's
here
perfectly
until you
okay.
move out of the
It's
way.
okay, perfectly okay to film in public, which is what I was explaining to your colleague.
You gave me your details, and I could
Right. So
be happy that there is nothing
my details.
untoward.
My details won't give you any other information.
I would like to check you out so that I am happy.
When a second officer arrives, you might expect a fresh set of eyes, maybe even a de-escalation. Instead, what we see is reinforcement. The suspicion doesn't get re-evaluated, it gets amplified. And psychologically, that's powerful. Two officers now share the same unverified concern, and that shared belief starts to feel more legitimate simply because it's echoed. The reasoning shifts toward, we don't know who you are. But not knowing someone's identity isn't automatically grounds for intervention. In public, anonymity is normal. The logic seems to be, unfamiliar equals potentially dangerous. But that's not a lawful standard, that's a precautionary instinct. And while instinct can guide observation, it cannot replace statutory authority.
And you're well aware of that. I know the law just
Right,
as much
very
as you.
shortly, I will, to prevent a breach of the peace.
You can't prevent a breach of the peace
can prevent
if
a breach
none
of
was
the
going to take place. I'm not breaching anybody's peace.
I have colleagues and members of the council staff who are very concerned about why you were out here filming in light of the incidents
I'm
yesterday.
filming a story. I'm not filming in light of those incidents.
Well,
Those incidents
until
weren't
I
even
can-
known to me until you made them aware.
Prove or negate either way, all I want is your details to make sure that no members of the public are a threat
They're
by
not.
you. Well,
My details wouldn't give you any more information about that.
people tell me every day
Well,
how good they are.
I'm
and that
not
they
saying
are
I'm
no
not saying.
threat.
Hang on, I'm not saying I'm good. What I'm saying, I'm not denying either way.
Everybody says every time, all the time, with interactions with the police, it wasn't me.
That's because
I'm no threat.
That's because your interaction, instead of
And there it is, the escalation button gets pressed. The word anti-terrorism enters the conversation. Notice how that single label dramatically raises the emotional temperature. Terrorism legislation carries weight. It implies seriousness, urgency, national security. But invoking it requires more than a hunch. It requires defined suspicion tied to specific criteria. What's telling is that the reference appears reactive. The earlier justifications, public safety, duty of care, general concern, didn't hold firm. So now the most serious category available is introduced. That's a huge leap from why are you filming to this might be terrorism. And when heavy legal frameworks are mentioned without clear articulation of grounds, it can look less like enforcement and more like pressure. The question becomes, is this about credible intelligence or about finding leverage?
without the powers under a section.
I have reasonable grounds to believe you.
If you're asking me to move,
Yes.
right, and you can state me a section of the law, I'll move quite happily. That's a perfectly reasonable request.
It's fine because we've got supervision
do you
coming in.
understand what the current level of threat at the moment?
Right, if there has
You know
been,
what evident means, I'm sure you do. You seem like an intelligent
if there
person.
has been a threat yesterday of some sort, then yes, I can understand.
Right. So
But
now
I,
you
but,
understand.
but I wasn't aware of that until you told me.
Right.
And
So now that's why we need your details.
well, you don't need my details.
Yes, we do.
So do you have the details whoever it was who you spoke to yesterday?
You know what's going to happen, right? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. You're going to end up getting arrested.
For what?
Right? Listen, That,
No, for
we're
what?
speaking to our supervision at the moment, okay? Based on the current threat levels and the incident that happened
now we'll
yesterday,
get an
that
order out.
ended up getting seized.
Pay attention to this moment. He offers a simple test, name the legal section, and he'll comply. That's not defiance, that's conditional cooperation based on lawful authority. And yet, no specific statute is clearly articulated. Instead, the conversation drifts into threats of arrest and seizure when an officer says, "You're going to end up getting arrested," before clearly establishing the offense. That's a shift from explanation to intimidation. The power dynamic tightens. But lawful authority isn't strengthened by volume or prediction. It's strengthened by clarity. If the grounds are solid, they're easy to state. If they're not, frustration can start filling the gaps. And right now, the escalation seems driven less by new facts and more by resistance to compliance.
Obstructive.
I'm not being obstructive at all.
Yeah, but
I'm
you
not
are.
obliged. No, there's no obstruction because I'm not obliged by law to give you,
Well, that's
unless
fine,
you
you can fight that in court then.
unless you reasonably assume that I don't need to, because it wouldn't go to court.
Well, you're being
You'd be looking at a lawsuit.
You're being obstructive, I don't care.
I'm not being obstructive at all.
care.
Refusing to give my details when being asked is not an
Listen,
obstruction.
you've asked for our details, okay?
Because I'm, as a member of the public,
Yeah.
and you've been civil servant, you are legally obliged to give me those details upon request.
You've obviously got nothing else better to do.
Well, but that's my concern, not yours.
Yeah.
If I was stood on the other side of the road without a camera, you wouldn't have approached me. It's purely because I'm filming. Filming is a perfectly legal activity.
Because we don't know why you are filming.
But I've told you why I'm filming, for a story,
A story for what?
for YouTube, for my blog.
Right. So who are you? If
I
you-
don't have to identify myself.
I'm not detaining you.
So you just said to me I'm not going
Yeah,
anywhere
well,
at the
listen,
minute.
Listen, where do you intend to go next? Because I'm just going to follow you, right?
That's no concern of yours.
Right, well listen, I'm just going to follow you because we need to speak to you about what you're doing.
You can follow me wherever
Yeah,
you like,
that's fine then,
but
alright.
don't tell me that I'm not going anywhere,
Alright.
because that's a threat of detainment unlawfully.
Right, listen.
Okay.
Would you like to come back round to the police station
I don't
where
need to.
we speak to you?
No, I don't need to.
You don't need
No.
to. Right, where are you going now?
I'm not telling
I'm
you.
going to follow you then, okay?
You follow me.
Okay.
This is harassment. Yeah, so anyway, I went in to see him, and basically he fobbed me off back to his offices most of the way. He did say that they would be doing some training over sort of data protection and dealing with photographers. Whether they did or not, I don't know. I didn't take it any further. I wasn't after them for money. It's not why I do this. It's just to show them as the bullies that they were.